So I uploaded a video a couple days ago, recorded and uploaded a video a couple days ago, and something along the lines, I forget the name of it, but are your tone controls, are you setting your tone controls wrong? Or something like that in regards to a guitar amplifier. And the it seemed fairly polarizing. There were a lot of people that thanked me and liked the information and learned something, hopefully. And that was completely my intent. If you watch the video, I don't think I come off as hopefully I don't come off as jerky or anything. But there were other people that were very offended and boiled down to I'm wrong, no, you're wrong. Okay, that wasn't my intent at all. But I just wanted to sort of offer a rebuttal, an explanation maybe. There were people in the middle that didn't quite understand what was happening, so I'll address that. Okay, so the people that learned something and liked my last video, thank you. That's why I post videos, hopefully to be helpful. The people that had a problem with it, I apologize. I didn't mean to upset you. I don't think I could argue and make you feel otherwise. So, I apologize. So anyway, I'm not even gonna worry about that, address it. But the people that didn't quite understand, okay, let me explain it. So the tone controls on here, and I had included the presence control in that, and somebody pointed out that that's different, and I looked, and sure enough, I looked at the schematic for these amps, and sure enough, the presence control is a separate thing. Okay, so let's just talk about the treble, middle, and bass. The TMB tone stack is kind of what it's called, and it's used in a lot of amps, Fender, Marshall, and then millions of others. But anyway, they are passive. Okay, they do not add anything to the circuit, so that's just a fact. That's not I feel this. Okay, it's a fact. They are passive. They don't add anything to the circuit. They only take away whatever goes into the tone section. Okay, can only be subtracted stuff. Okay, so if you go well, you turn down the treble and there's more bass. There's not. You just hear the bass because there's less treble. So whatever. Okay, if you think of it like a volume control on a guitar. Okay, the signal from the pickup goes into the volume control of the guitar, and the volume control on the guitar either lets all of it go to the output, or none of it go to the output and all of it goes to what's called ground. So all of it just basically gets tossed out the window. Okay, or any of that range in between. Okay, so that's what I mean. Having the volume control turned all the way up is just letting the maximum amount go through that volume knob, that control, that potentiometer. Okay, that's all that's happening. So as you're turning it down, you're just taking away. So all the way up, you haven't actually boosted the volume. That's just the volume. Okay, and as you turn it down, you're taking away the volume. You're taking away volume, sending more of it to ground, throwing more of it just out the window, basically. Okay, so that's what these controls do. Okay, all the way up allows the most amount of signal to go through to the next part of the circuit. Okay, that's all I was saying. I apologize if it was confusing. But anyway, so that's all that's happening, okay? That doesn't mean that it's the best sound, okay? It just means that it's the most amount of signal going to the next stage, okay? It doesn't mean that the amp manufacturers designed it to sound best all the way up. Because what's best? Who knows, right? Okay? It's just the most amount of signal going through. That's it. What you do with it, whatever. Okay? What could happen, and this happens in like a distortion pedal all the time, Okay, the signal goes into the distortion pedal. The distortion pedal boosts stuff, okay, causing it to distort whatever, and then spits it out. But it controls tone along the way too, even if there's no tone knob. Okay, like I like a DoD 250, it has a gain knob and a volume knob, and that's it. Okay, so what it does is the signal goes in, okay, and usually it'll, I believe, I haven't looked at a schematic for this in a long time, but I believe it cuts bass at the beginning, okay, because if it distorts too many bass frequencies, it can get like really loose and flabby and farty sounding, so it cuts bass frequencies, then distorts everything, then because the distorting of everything adds even more high frequencies, okay, then when it's on its way out of the pedal, it actually then trims off a whole lot of high frequencies, okay? So it's doing its own tone control stuff in it, okay? So on these amps, that doesn't mean that the people designed it and they went, okay, you know what? We're gonna design it so that the optimal sound we feel is with the tone controls halfway. They may have designed it that way, and that's totally fine. Whatever works for you, whatever works for me, whatever works for anybody, okay? All I was saying was that the tone knobs all the way up allow the most amount of signal to go through to the next stage, okay? And I believe in these amps, I believe the tone control is the control that sort of leads out of the little tone section of the circuit. Okay, so whatever, you know, but that's all I was saying. What you do with that, you know, try it. You might go, yeah, wow, I totally like this better. In which case, you maybe did have your tone controls set not optimally for you. I don't know. So therefore they would have, you know, been set wrong for you. You like it better the other way, you know, this new way, whatever. Okay, that's all I was saying. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there and explain exactly what's going on electrically, you know, physics, just the actual factual of it. Okay, and you know, the end result is the sound. Okay, if you have a really bright guitar, you may not want a whole lot of treble in the amp. Okay, if you have a really dark guitar, you may not want a whole lot of bass in the amp. If you have a really bright guitar into a distortion pedal that kind of brightens things up even more, and then into a speaker cabinet that's really dark, really cuts the highs a ton, then you might go, hey, everything's totally fine. So the way you have one amp set is going to be probably different from how you have another amp set. The same amplifier with different speaker cabinets, even different volumes. Okay, as you turn the volume up or down, the tone changes. The volume that the speakers are working at, the tone changes. Even with nothing else changing, just volume, the tone changes. So, you know, play around, have fun, enjoy, and hopefully, you know, you learned a little something from some of my videos.